Gametes are haploid cells, and each cell carries only one copy of chromosomes. These reproductive cells are produced through a type of cell division called meiosis. Female gametes are called ova or egg cells, and male gametes are called sperm. Fertilization is, in fact, the fusion of the hereditary material of two different sex cells, a sperm and ovum nucleus. The sperm delivers DNA as it penetrates through the plasma membrane, and the fertilized egg is now known as a zygote, and the process of pregnancy begins. Implantation is the stage where the embryo adheres to the wall of the uterus and prenatal development starts. It is in this adhesion that the embryo receives oxygen and nutrients from the mother to being able to grow. Pregnancy is the period in which a fetus develops inside a woman's womb. The first trimester corresponds to the cell division, one making up the wall lining of the embryo to become placenta, and the second to become the embryo itself. The second one is where the fetus becomes active and all the cells, organs, and structures continue to develop. Gender is now known, and the kidneys work, and the heartbeat is felt. The third trimester is where the fetus is now capable to live outside of the womb as it gains weight and adjusts temperatures. Nerves structures are complete now. During childbirth, the first stage is where the cervix thins and dilates. During the second stage of labor, contractions become stronger, and aided by the pushing of the mother, the baby is expelled from the uterus. During the third stage, placenta, amniotic sac, and the remainder of the umbilical cord are expelled as well.
It is very important to learn about our reproduction and how we reproduce because, well, we're knowing about ourselves and we are knowing about our anatomy and the anatomy of plants and animals. Reproduction is important for the survival of all living things. Without a mechanism for reproduction, life will come to an end. There are two types of reproduction to learn that are elementary, that are asexual and sexual reproduction. When we know about reproduction properly, we know how cells work because reproduction is chemical replication of cells. As evolution progressed, cells of successively higher levels of complexity must have arisen, and it was absolutely essential that they had the ability to make likenesses of themselves. Okay, so the topic that I want to treat today is about birth control. I will explain the four most effective contraceptive methods and discuss their social implications. The contraceptive methods that I will mention are more than 99% effective. In the first place, is the contraceptive implant that lasts up to 10 years and it has a 0.05% of margin of error. It can also be used to reduce menstrual cramps and make menstrual periods lighter. Some of the common side effects include irregular menstrual bleeding, headache, weight gain, acne, and breast pain, which may lead to discontinuation among some users. Less common risks associated with implant use include insertion and removal complications, ectopic pregnancy, and ovarian cysts. Although rare, some women who use the implant are at a higher risk of developing blood clots, heart attack, or stroke. And the second one is the intrauterine device or IUD, also called the coil. It lasts up to 5 to 10 years. When it's made of LNG, it has a margin of error of 0.2%, and when it's made of copper T, it has a 0.8% of margin of error. Okay, so the most common negative topics that are mentioned during social communication, talking about the IUDs, is that it can perforate the uterine wall, migrating or becoming embedded in the uterine wall. Also can have side effects as cramping and heavy bleeding, problems with return to fertility, method failure, and the injuries or deaths caused by the Dawkins shield. Also, people believe that some women were killed because of the IUD, and some women have removed it because of the stories they listen about, because there is a bad spreading of information about the method. The next method is the female sterilization, that is permanent and it has a 0.5% of margin of error. Some clients incorrectly believe that female sterilization leads to health risks or side effects such as hysterectomy, poor health, pain, changes in menstrual bleeding, or hormonal imbalances. But there are no documented medical side effects of female sterilization. And the last one is the male sterilization or vasectomy. There's permanent and it has a 0.15% of margin of error. And the complications include over failure, occasional sperm indejaculated hematoma, bleeding, infection, sperm granuloma, congestive epididymis, anti-sperm antibody formation, and psychogenic impotence. Some of the most common methods for avoiding STDs, they are not all very controlled, but there are some methods that you can use to prevent that you get it. The first one is the abstinence, that is the more reliable way to avoid infection, that is not to have sex, any type. The second one is the condoms. The use of the male latex condom is highly effective in reducing STD transmission. Also, another is the vaccination. Vaccines are safe, effective, and recommended ways to prevent hepatitis B and HPV, but they are not recommended for people older than 26. And also that it's like your decision and more like something moral with yourself is to reduce number of sex partners and mutual monogamy. That means to agree with the person that you're having relation just with them.